Hi, Jeffrey.
Hello.
This is Uptown Drama. This is like a new thing that we're trying. We're going to be doing these on video so that you can have like a little visual component out in the world and you can see us talking to our guests. And today it's just me and Jeffrey because we're going to be talking about the new season announcement. And but hopefully in the future we'll be able to get some people on here and you'll be able to see our guests and it'll be visually interesting and fun. So yeah. So how's it going, Jeffrey?
Good. We're running Ackroyd right now. People are seeming to dig it.
Hmm.
Um, we're a little all dead behind the eyes because we're getting towards the end of the season. I I was sick the entire Ackroyd process, got over it, and I'm sick
You're
again.
still
Yay.
sick. You're still sick. We're all trying to figure out like, should we wear masks around Jeffrey? No, you need to get better because we're about to start Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. That's the last show of the season, and it's being directed by Vonda K. Bowling, and it's
Our
got some
first
great people in it.
yeah,
Her
our first
first, yeah,
production meeting is today.
yeah. Um, so we're gonna do that, but we're not here to talk about Dirty Rotten Scoundrels yet. We're here to talk about next season and the shows that we're doing. So let's jump right in. Let's talk about what we're doing upstairs in the Norma Young first. So what's the first show that we're doing?
Well, we have 4 upstairs. This
Mhm.
past season, we had 5. We really had intended only to do 4, and then Penelope was essentially an add-on. But so we have 4 coming up next season, and it's our 65th season. We have decided, n- partly, no one pays attention to the number. It is actually our 65th year, so our 65th season. For a while, we flirted with removing one because of the pandemic, but nobody cares. So it's our 65th season.
Yeah. For a
Um,
while there, we were like, it's 64 and a half or something like that. We couldn't keep up. So let's just say 65th season.
And so yeah, we're gonna start the fall season off with some pent up sexual tension and frustration that everyone experiences, I guess, but really, especially, I guess, kids in boarding schools.
Kids in boarding school, everyone's favorite, Spring Awakening. And this is going to be a co-pro with UTA. I'm really excited about this. We've been trying to do something, collaborate with that school for a while now. For the past few seasons, we've had understudies that are students for musicals and stuff, and they've actually had to go in at some point,
Yeah.
and they're just great. It's a great program, and we love working with the faculty there. And so we're super excited to be co-proing with them. As a matter of fact, Sarah and I are headed to preliminary auditions tomorrow on their campus to, just to take a look at the kids.
Yeah, overwhelmingly their professionalism and their preparation, all the
Mhm.
students we work with, because I want to say that have we used any UTA students, not just as understudies, but I think they've just worked with us as well at this point. But
Yeah, we
by and large, just fantastic. And so we knew this is a heavy lift for us financially and just in terms of its size and scope. So partnering with the school was really the only way we could get it done, and we're thrilled that it's UTA.
Yeah, exactly. So this will be directed by Emily Gray, who is, a longtime collaborator of Theater 3. Music directed by Vicky Noe and choreographed by Austin Ayers, who are faculty at UTA. And so we're just really excited to have everybody in the same room together doing that. And Emily actually attended boarding school in
Yeah,
England. So when we approached her about this, she was so excited. She had pictures of the boarding school she went
yeah.
to. She had pictures of herself in uniform. So this is something that is close to her heart as well. Yeah, we're excited to do that. Everybody loves that show.
And
What's
then,
next?
yeah, then the age-old question that all ADs and associate ADs have to face: what are we going to do for the holiday season?
Yep.
And so we're doing our own thing, which is super exciting. Matt Lyle, who has written several things for us, we've produced several of his plays this season. Of course, he did The Trade, the one about the trading of Luca from the
Mhm.
Mavs, and he's so great at writing comedy, fast-paced comedy, and writing it very quickly too. So we're doing of course Chrissy and I are Gen Zers, so Gremlins.
We're not Gen Zers, Jeffrey, we're Gen
I mean
Xers.
Gen X's. See, it's already happening
It's already happening.
cognitively. It's
Oh,
starting to
me
erode.
on, Peepaw.
Yeah, it's Gen Xers, and so yeah, Gremlins. It's always been. I actually just rewatched it last night because Matt and I are meeting soon to talk about the piece, and it was a lot of fun to revisit that. So, but it's not going to just be a retelling of the movie.
No.
It's the whole premise centers around the movie Gremlins, but we're not just doing a
Right.
frame
And
by frame
actually the
retelling.
right, the title of it is Gremlins, mostly. It's Gremlins with an exclamation point and then parenthetically, mostly. And yeah, it has, it does have a little bit of like not generations fighting, but a little bit of the generational differences, like a lot of Gen X nostalgia, which is something that you and I talk about all the time, with a little bit of mixed in with, technology today and all that kind of stuff. I think it's going to be so much fun.
It's going to be
Just
a big
hearing,
challenge for the cast, yeah, because it's a small cast that have to
yeah, it's a tiny
embody.
cast.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited about it. I personally have trauma that is related to Gremlins, the movie. I love it, of course, but I always felt so bad for the fuzzy, cute gremlins. So we'll see what's going to happen. What's
What's next?
next? Next up, we have Neil Simon's Rumors. We always like to do a farce. We always love to do like a big raucous comedy in the spring. And if it's a farce, it's even better. And we finally landed on this one because we went back and read it, and it is still so hilarious. I mean, it
Yeah.
is so funny, and it's such a challenge for it's a larger cast for us, and it's a challenge with everything that's happening. But do you want to talk about what the main, like, what is the inciting event
Oh,
of the show?
well, a politician gets shot in the ear.
We thought perfect. So yeah, so it's about this politician who gets shot in the ear and in the middle of what is supposed to be like a fancy dinner party, and and the hilarity and hijinks that ensue around it, trying to damage control, and hide from the public, hide from the police, uh, all that kind of stuff. Matthew Gray is directing that, and we're super excited to have him back. Of course, he directed Line in Winter for us this season, and we think he's just the perfect person to handle a large group of people doing crazy stuff on stage. What's next?
And then finally, we were thrilled that we got this because I know a lot of theaters were hoping to nab this one.
Hmm.
It's the last show of our upstairs season. A little lighthearted, fun, frilly romp of a musical. Um,
Called
Teeth.
Teeth. We're so excited and thrilled that we were able to get the rights to it and bring it to Dallas. I even saw someone post on the social medias the other day when we announced that they were surprised that it was being done in Dallas. And I thought, why? Like, we're progressive folks here in town. Um, so this show is based on the 2007 horror film Teeth, and it's a comedy horror film. Although the movie does have like a more serious tone, the musical veers more into comedy. And it is about a young woman who's part of like a fundamentalist church, and they do the whole like, promise keeper thing where they're supposed to stay virtuous until they're married. Um, and she discovers something strange about her anatomy at some point during the film, and just craziness happens after that. And the show's called Teeth, so you can imagine what that anatomical mutation could
I
be.
love how we're
Right,
producing this
we're
musical,
producing
but we're dancing around what it's about in the podcast. I
vagina
love it.
dentata. Let's
Yeah.
just say it. There, I said it. Um, it's very funny. Uh, it's really relevant. That word gets thrown around a lot, but it really is. And as funny as it does approach the question of consent and the question of sexuality in a kind of serious way, through this just crazy premise. And, there's dancing and there's blood and there's a gynecologist visit that is hilarious and goes wrong. I do wanna say that the themes in the show are super, super adult. The language is very provocative. Um, so if it's not your thing, maybe don't come see Teeth, but we think you should because it's super funny.
Yeah, I mean,
Super
it's the
funny.
whole this is exactly what I think what Theater 3 is. It is part of a very eclectic season. We're giving, everyone a little bit of everything, and yeah, so, there yeah, of course, there are gonna be some people who are like, "Okay, too much for me," but,
Sure. Oh, I I
you know
I know, but, the thing that makes me happy is the other day I watched the movie again. I was a little bit shocked at the language, and, I was talking to Mary, who's our managing director, and one of our board members was in the office at the same time. And I said, "Oh my gosh," I said, "I know that there are going to be people who are going to be uncomfortable with this." And our board member said, "That's what T3 does. We do things that you can't see anywhere else. So we should be doing this show." So I was really, really proud of that and really, really happy that, yeah, that's part of our identity.
Yeah.
So we're going to be bringing you this show and I think it's hilarious.
There's so many people who still talk about when Theater 3 did Bat Boy a million years ago, and I think that's in the same
Yeah,
world
it's
in
in the
this.
same world. Yeah. Great. So those are our shows upstairs. Um, downstairs, uh, yeah, what are we starting with downstairs?
I've been wanting to do this show forever, and it needed to be done at Theater 3 at some point. We talk about
Mhm,
it all the time, and I don't wanna belabor it, but, Doug Wright, the amazing Pulitzer Prize winning playwright, spent some of his formative time at Theater 3 when he was young,
mhm,
and so we're doing I Am My Own Wife, downstairs as the first, the f we've talked about it before, but it's been patrons have really been enjoying the small, intimate one-person shows, two-handers we've been doing down there that fit so well
mhm.
down there that, the audience is part of the action, and this is, of course, a tour de force performance for an actor. It's an
Mhm.
amazing script. It's timely in some ways. I think you'll start seeing the theme that we have going on downstairs as we talk about all 3 shows.
Yeah, we're super excited about the creative team involved in I Am My Own Wife, and, it's gonna be one of those shows where how are they going to achieve that down there, which is it's one of my favorite things that happens when we produce down there. Next up after that is Dear Jack, Dear Louise by Ken Ludwig. And this is like a wonderful little story about how Ken Ludwig's parents actually met during the it's not yeah. Is it World War II or the Korean
Yeah.
conflict? I think
No, World War
it's
II.
it's World War II. Um, and, it's an epistolary play, so it's, two characters writing to each other back and forth, and it's really funny and really lovely and, just, to see what folks went through back then trying to meet each other and just the whole family dynamic and, and how they finally came together. And
Yeah, it's
that's going
beautiful.
to be
It's our Valentine's slot, yeah.
yeah, it's our Valentine slot, that's what I was about to say. It's a just compelling love story. It's really great.
Yeah. B pre pre being able to hit someone up in their DMs,
Right, right.
like
It's
halfway
like
across the world.
texting before texting, like texting analog. Can you say that?
Yeah, but
Texting
that sort of
analog?
that anticipation of waiting on a letter, you don't know when it's gonna come, and it could be weeks, it could be months, or there's a war
Right,
involved, you're
right,
across the
and,
world from one another. It's
like, you imagine today when somebody, like, leaves you on red, right? And you're like, I wonder what they're doing. Rah, rah, rah. They didn't even answer me." Now think about that in World War II when you've written to someone and you haven't received a letter in weeks, maybe months, and the 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 thought there is, "Oh my gosh, something really terrible could have happened," you know?
Yeah, it's a whole other
Um,
podcast, but I have this idea of how uh, playwriting changed and the structure of plays changed as we move further and further away from the art of writing a letter. You know,
oh, yeah.
I, I Tennessee Williams, I think, is a great example of that. I'm not saying it's
Yeah.
better or worse. It's just that
It's just different. It's different,
yeah,
but, like, you can go all the way up to I mean, well, this play, right? But you can also, like, you Christopher Hampton, like, with, Dangerous Liaisons, right? With all of those
Mhm.
letter yeah, that's a whole other podcast. We've gone off track. And then what is closing out our T2 season? Did
Miss
I say it? Should you say it?
Margarita's Way.
Miss
Yes.
Margarita's Way by, Brazilian playwright Roberto Ataide. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And I love how he describes it. He says it is a tragic comedy monologue for an impetuous woman. Miss Margarita's Way is a play written in 1971. It's a satire, and Estelle Parsons made it famous in the late 70s on Broadway. Um, but we're really excited to bring this play back. It's amazing when you read
It's
it to
intense.
see it is really intense, and it's amazing to just see how relevant and resonant it is in 2026.
Yeah,
Um,
and it's like, I don't this should never be we should never tell you what you should experience in the theater or what we're hoping you experience. It's whatever you take away. We talked a lot about this, as we plan this season, in these unprecedented times. But there is a theme downstairs, and I'm anxious to see if once people absorb all three to see what we've done and
yeah,
what we hope people take away from downstairs. You know?
right. And we didn't plan it. It just happened that way, and
Well,
there's
it started to form, and then that's what made us the final decision on those three that go together
that's right.
downstairs. We were
Yeah,
like,
that's
wait,
right.
oh,
Yeah,
you know,
these 2 kept these 3 kept floating to the top,
yeah,
there's lots of two-person, one-person plays out there, but when we kept talking about them, these 3 kept just kind of, like, floating to the top, and then you pointed it out. We were like, "Oh, yeah," and then that's kind of, like, what solidified, um, our decision to do it. It's just a really interesting play where the audience becomes the students in this classroom. And don't worry, nobody's going to ask you to participate, but that's the premise of the play is that you go to class. And Miss Margarita is a teacher that's going to show you how to be.
yeah. For all of
um,
our patrons who have loved the adventure we've been taking them on downstairs, get ready. Yeah, this is a full on adventure
yep.
downstairs.
Well, I am very excited about next season, and I just want to say to everybody to, you know, subscriptions are already on sale if you are a subscriber. When are they gonna go on sale for everybody else and single tickets, Jeffrey, do you know?
New subscriptions will go on sale right around the time Dirty Rotten Scoundrels
Mhm.
begins. And then single tickets usually start happening in August, uh, before the season starts. And we give people plenty of time to get their season subscriptions um,
Right.
purchased.
Right. And, if you like I said, if you are already a subscriber, you can call the box office and talk to them about renewing already. And if you're an actor type out there in the world, just keep your eye out for audition dates, and, we can't wait to see you. That's it. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next month on Uptown Drama.
Sweet.